Oh, hey there. Welcome to Scary Ideas episode number 2, dude. This is coming to you live from Facebook, the best platform in the world, because why not? I mean, there's many reasons why not, but we're not going to get into a tangent off about platforms and Facebook. This is the opening diatribe. Here it is. This is pre-written, what I'm about to do. I wrote it like 2 weeks ago. I don't remember what it is about. Okay, here we go. The goal of this podcast is to motivate, lift, and unite. It is not to alienate. I love being a dick because it's fun. Being mean in the right context is hilarious. Doesn't mean I actually enjoy being a dick. So if I feel like I'm being a dick for real, I try to learn from that. I'm starting to become a bully. I don't know why. I'm starting to demand respect from people I have no business talking to. It's weird. I love to bully people because who else is gonna? Everyone else is too afraid to bully because bullying is shameful. But there's a good kind of bullying. I don't remember being bullied as a kid because I was cool. At least that's what I thought. In reality, they were just afraid of me, which is just as good. Like, I take intimidation as a compliment, even though it comes natural. It comes naturally for me to be intimidating. Like, I could be a great villain. Like, not in a movie, but in real life. But reality is often disappointing. So at best, I'll just be a white-collar criminal. It's the closest thing you get to being a villain. I gotta be careful with the word white. It's a triggering word. Same with black. So I'm just gonna say those two words a bunch to desensitize you, the audience. White, 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 black, 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 etc. Man, that was intense. Let me just say some other colors just to break the tension. Purple, yellow, red, yellow, 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 brown, gray, rainbow, 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 magenta, colorless, transparent, white. Okay, we're just talking colors, dude. I'm bored of comedy, dude, so I've become a dark poet. Not just a regular poet. Like, I need people to know I'm not a kid's poet. I'm a poet as in I know how to mansplain hard. Hasn't got me killed yet. Like, I could mansplain topics I know nothing about. Like mansplaining. Take that topic, for example. I love mansplaining topics that originated from feminism. Like, I think stand-up comedy is a sexist art form inherently. Like, that's why women are so successful at it. Or not. I don't know where I was going with this. No one really wants to listen to a woman and be told what's what the same way they are with a dude. That's why I think it's hard. That's why there's so few female comics, because it's inherently sexist. People listen to masculine voices for some reason. Like right now you're listening to one. I didn't design it, but that seems to be true, and I find it biased and unfair. But that said, it is. It's that way, and it's funny. Life isn't fair. If you are a woman, you might want a man who's bigger than you because it's hot. If you're a dude, you might want a woman who's smaller because it's hot. It's a hot dynamic. That's why people are against gay marriage. That's why homophobia exists. Some people don't like going against nature. Death by misadventure, great way to go. You took a risk, it didn't work out. Along the way, you did something that was disadvantageous. And it resulted in death. That's actually just a British term. It's not actually, that's philosophical. I'm sure people have made fun of that, picked that topic apart. Anyway, that was the opening diatribe. wasn't really a diatribe. It was just me just reading off some things that I wrote on my phone. No, it wasn't actually written on my phone. I was reading it off my iPad, though. I got a pretty intense setup for this podcast. Like, what you see right now is basic. It's just me in front of a black background and having long hair. I like to put my hair back so that way you could see where it's going. You could see, like, how much I actually have. Like, my forehead's getting bigger because I'm getting smarter. Not because I'm losing hair. Because you gain wisdom, you gain forehead inches as you acquire wisdom. I could hear something in the background, like my air conditioning or something. But anyway, there's no guest for this podcast. It's just me and whoever calls in, dude. We do have a call-in number. It's right up there. It's a 773 number, so that's Chicago. Doesn't mean I'm in Chicago. It's just that's the area code that I chose when I picked that number like 7 years ago. Anyway, we're not going to get any call-ins today, but actually we should make sure that the call-in number does indeed work. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to call the call-in number because that's a very entertaining thing to do. It's just to call myself. I did it last week, so that's why it's not really cool at all to do it again. And we have a lot of topics to cover tonight. That's why I'm taking so long to get into them. Because I like setting myself up for failure. Alright, here comes the incoming call. Hey there, welcome to the show. Just making sure the phones work. Who is this, by the way? It's me. I'm coming to you from the closet. You better not go in there. Alright, that was really stupid. I was just making sure the phone works, and it does indeed work. It's a real phone number. It's not just a joke. And last week we had 2 people call in. Last week I submitted this video to a flat Earth group, and they approved it for some. They actually approved it. I don't think they're gonna do it again this time because I didn't really talk about flat Earth. I kind of just used it as a launching pad to get viewers. But if they do approve it and a bunch of flat earthers start brigading, I guess that's pretty much what we're gonna have to talk about, dude. So anyway, I'm drinking White Claw and I got coffee because Four Loko was not available at the store. They kind of have like this thing where it's like it's hard to find because adults are really dumb. Alright, we got our first caller coming in. Hey there, what's your name?
Hey, it's the Worcester.
The Worcester? What was that?
It's Rory.
Oh, Rory.
Yeah.
My man. How you doing, dude?
Good. How are you doing, Tim Bob?
Tim Bob, I'm doing pretty good. I'm just drinking some Claws. I'm easing into the show. Like I barely got into. Like I'm very lackadaisically starting the show. I'm kind of sick, but I'm still having fun, dude. How about you? What are you doing tonight besides this?
I'm chilling out at Will's Northwood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
3 dead moose.
Yeah. I go up in like an hour or something.
Who else is there?
Yeah.
Anyone cool? You don't have to name names. Just say if there's anyone cool.
Yes, it's the coolest thing ever.
Dude, that's one of my favorite mics. I've been going there for the past 7 years. It's dope. It's fire. Most people bomb though because most people are not good at comedy. That you know what I'm talking about. Are you gonna do well? I always ask that.
I'm gonna fucking crush so hard, dude.
I love asking comics how they're gonna do before they go up.
Yeah, I'm gonna be headlining at the Apollo next week based on my performance tonight.
That's
how good I'm gonna do.
You never know.
True.
I did
drinking White Claw there.
Are you? You are?
No.
Oh, you're talking about me.
Flavor. Yeah.
Dude, White Claw. It's like it doesn't get me that drunk. It's just kind of like piss water. It's just kind of like lemonade, you know. Like it's like. but I drink it because it's. I don't know. It's probably the last time I'm gonna get it, to be honest. But I'd rather be drinking vodka.
Classy beverage.
It's like, oh yeah, that's right. And we were drinking High Noon at that on Friday at the roast show. You were drunk. You got pretty loaded.
I don't drink very much. I drink in moderation. I was not.
That's why I was impressed. I was like, dude, Rory's like. How old are you, by the way?
I'm old enough.
Just wondering, because I think you said you're like 22 or something. I was like, whoa, that's young.
24.
Oh, 24. That's my younger brother's age. I was talking to him. He's also drinking White Claw, my little brother. I'm going to just show the audience. Anyway, but is there any like topics, like meaty topics that you would like to talk about while you're waiting to go up at this mic?
Have you ever seen Evil Dead?
The movie?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, it's a good fucking movie. You should watch it. It was like
is it a zombie movie?
First, sort of a zombie movie. Mostly, it's like a demonic ghost movie. Not exactly a zombie.
Oh, okay. Is it scary?
You know who's? It's pretty scary. It's pretty scary considering that it was made in the '80s. It holds up.
Oh, okay. A lot of things from the 80s do not hold up, especially the people. The people of the 80s are looking pretty bad these days. Actually, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Have you seen Robert Redford these days?
Let me look.
Like a walking corpse.
I'd have to look him up.
The Evil Dead.
Yeah, let me look him up. Let me show the audience. Robert Redford.
Look up Robert Redford.
Okay, people.
He's a good-looking man.
He's 82, so he can't. It's not like he's. So he didn't peak in the 80s. Maybe he did, but he's looking pretty chill. Like he looks like a. I mean, obviously he's old, so I'm not gonna make fun of his appearance, but when he was young, he was hot.
Well, some people age well better than others. Like Joe Biden, he aged well, I think.
Joe Biden does. He's looking good. He looks old, but also he's young and he's chipper. I saw Ringo Starr last night, and he was.
Oh yeah, how did he look?
He was looking good, and also like he moves around a lot on stage, and he was like going after the audience because like the audience was heckling him. He was like, "Can you shut up and keep drinking your beer?" Like imagine being Ringo Starr getting heckled. Even
that's gotta suck, man.
Even
like,
he.
That means that, like, if Ringo Starr can't do his act, like, unbothered, who can?
Exactly, dude. So that should help you tonight. Paul McCartney can.
Back to Joe Biden. What do you think about his chances of getting the Democratic nomination?
I think Sloppy Joe, or whatever they call him, Floppy Joe, has very little chance because he is, after all, a flip-flopper, and he's a creep.
Well, I mean, he certainly does touch the youth of the nation, and
exactly.
You have to.
Would you hear that from?
Some credit for that.
Would you hear that from Fox News?
Touching the youth of the nation.
Or did you coin that phrase?
I believe that came from Rory's noggin.
Holy shit!
I mean, great minds do think alike, so I wouldn't be surprised if someone else at some point, maybe in LA, came up with that.
Oh, I'm sure. Like it sounds too good to be something that you thought of. So that's why I'm impressed.
I just haven't. I don't know of anyone else saying that before.
He touches the youth of the nation, dude. That's going on bumper sticker.
To comment.
Yep.
And say that it's someone else.
Either way, if you thought of it, you thought of it. You know, like just own it, dude. Be proud. And
for sure.
And you recommended somebody last time I saw you, a very controversial person.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't have a chance to look into it, but I know that he's like considered alt-right, like legitimately.
There is a person who you remind me of very much.
Okay, let me just look. Cool. I'll look that up and then I'll talk about it.
Look up. First of all, in appearance, you look like him.
Oh yeah. What's his name again?
His name is Mencius Moldbug.
That's right.
I feel like I'm going to get in trouble just for knowing this guy's name.
Dude, I know. That's why we're talking about it.
Jesus Christ. Fuck.
But anyway, if you want, I will let you go, and then I could just talk about him and take all the heat. If you...
Well, first of all, I want to hear your reaction to seeing a picture of this guy.
Oh yeah, he totally looks like me, but I can't. But I'm having a bad time googling him because I'm very because that's a what's his other name? That's like his pen name. What's the other way?
Yeah, his real name is Curtis Yarvin.
Okay, that's right, Curtis Yarvin.
Yeah.
Here he is, kind of. Curtis. Okay, Curtis Yarvin. Anyway, do you want me to let you go and then I could just go back to being solo? And then.
Yeah, I guess so.
Cool.
Yeah.
You could always call back later.
What?
And you could always call back later. I just don't want to bore the shit out of you.
Oh no, you're not. But
okay.
Yeah, I should go and support the mic.
And can you tell those people to shut up behind you?
They're fine. Like, I'm stepping on their turf.
Their family?
It's a back patio.
Oh, it's a back patio. That's fine. That makes sense. Is it Packers fans?
I guess so. I mean, it's a Packers bar, right?
Well, tell them to eat a dick, please, on my behalf.
I will not do that.
Okay.
I won't do that.
That's fair.
Not gonna do that. But enjoy your White Claw.
Thank you.
I don't watch Fox News, by the way.
That's fine.
I don't really watch the news at all. I get my news from Twitter.
So if you did, you would
Facebook.
watch it, though. If you did watch the news.
Nah.
Gotcha. Because you're not...
Nah, the news sucks.
The mainstream
Everyone's
news.
talking about the shooting. The shooting really bummed me out thinking about it.
Yeah, that's quite a controversial event. Chain of events. It's a very...
Well, it's sad. It's sad.
Like, it's sad and also too sad to even talk about on this podcast. This is not called sad ideas. Not called sad current events. It's called scary ideas.
It's called scary ideas. That's right.
But if someone called in to talk specifically about it, of course, I'd be more than happy to heed that call, because I am. But I'm not going to do it myself.
Yeah.
Oh, so are you going up soon?
I'm going on like 13, and it started at 8.
So yeah, not very soon then.
All right. Well, see you later, Tim.
All right, see ya. Thanks for calling, dude.
No problem.
All right, take it
Later.
easy. Peace. That was Rory. I'm not going to say his last name because we are very anonymous. We're very respectful of not doxing people on this show because it's about controversial ideas. Unless they want to be doxed, I just don't do it, you know. Anyway, he gave us a nice person of interest to talk about named Curtis Yarvin. So I'm going to go back to that. This is a Wikipedia article. And yeah, I guess he kind of looks like me because he probably has like a lot of the same genetic material as me. I mean, let's see. He's a far-right American blogger in computer science, dude. Yeah, that's pretty much the same thing that I am. I don't identify as any of those things, though. I don't identify as far-right. I do identify as American. Not a blogger, not a computer scientist. I don't know. But I do computer stuff, and I have glasses, and I have the same hair color and skin as him. So there you go. And he's I really don't know that much about him, but apparently he knows a lot about the current politics of 4chan. And it's pretty relevant to know about that because that is where a lot of conservatives, young conservatives or whatever you want to call them, share their ideas, just like the ideas that we talk about on this show. And that is probably what influenced the election, is those types of... It's not just old people. It's not just people in Bible Belt area. It's not just people in redneck states, as people like to refer to them, who are voted for Trump. It's young people who are passionately against the far left. It's not even that they're conservative necessarily. They're just not agreeing with things that the far left is propagating. And you can't say that there's no propaganda from the left because there is. I guess I have to prove that there is. Okay, let's find propaganda from the left. Let's go to CNN.com. A deadly day in America. Yes, that's just news. Let's go to, like, can we make this, is it the actual size? Is this a website? I've never seen a website that was this simple. Like, it's not bad. Anyway, let's go to the propaganda section. So far, I don't see any. I thought this was I thought CNN was the most left-wing, you know. But I guess you have to dig deep to find it. So let's go to opinion? Nah. Let's go to politics. Because opinion, of course, is going to be biased. We want to go... Yeah, okay, here we go. Democrats demand McConnell convene Senate to pass background checks. Okay, it's not propaganda. Alright, if someone has some propaganda from the left, please send it to me because I don't really know where to find. Of course, I know where to find it. Just go to vox.com. But that's easy. That's so easy. Democrats have been discussing ideas. I mean, like, if a shooting happens, people just go right into using that as ammunition, for lack of better metaphor, for gun control. And that is kind of propaganda. If you're using that as a reaction, if you're using that as immediately turning into a political argument, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is kind of interesting that that's their best evidence for gun. Anyway, we're not going to get into that because I don't really care. Like, it wasn't planned. We're not just going to be a reactionary news show. This is a show about scary ideas. And if you want to call in, there's the number. That's not at all where it is. I'm pointing, like, off screen. It's right up there somewhere. And we're going to talk about one of the things I actually had planned, which is trying to be cool versus knowing you're already cool. Self-obsession. I'm like, being cool is a thing that doesn't really exist forever. Like, coolness is, it depends on who you ask. Like, I could feel cool, doesn't mean anyone else will adhere to me thinking I'm cool. But hey, like, hipness is a thing that you could have if you're, like, in a band or something. If you're in a really cool band, some people will think you're hip for a little while. Then they'll get old, and then they'll be like, "Oh, you like that band from the 20s, from the 2000s or something? Like, you still like that band?" And then you realize that it was temporary, and that hipness is impossible to have permanently. So why chase it as if it's attainable? Why chase hipness when you know it's unattainable? It's an illusion. Hipness is an illusion. Like, even the Beatles knew that hipness was a silly thing to chase, and they were as hip as ever. But they didn't. That's not why they did what they did, I don't think, to be hip. But imagine being the Beatles and realizing that fame is shallow, and realizing that people are just kind of like have a sheep mentality and will just, become a fan just because other people are fans, and not really get into the deepness of the art and the artistic value of the songs. But Beatles were so culturally relevant that even if the songs were not enjoyable, like, the songwriting itself was really good, but also the songs were so culturally relevant in the way that they revolutionized the recording process. That it was rock and roll, the distortion, the double vocals, like, all the production stuff made it sound really good, but also it was hip. So you didn't really need to be a music fan to be a Beatles fan. You just had to be a fan of coolness. You had to be a fan of fresh air. And I saw Ringo Starr last night, and he's as hip as you could get, but also he's the least hip Beatle, kind of, which is kind of sad. So he was like kind of still probably has this weird inferiority complex of like, well, yes, I'm a Beatle, but I'm the one who also has the littlest catalog and the littlest, you know. Isn't that sad, kind of, that like even he gets heckled at his own shows? Like people were like yelling at him, like, play Day Tripper, what are you doing? He's like, shut up and keep drinking your beer. Like he actually did that. And he was standing in a, like, he's really young and chip and chipper, whatever. That was a dumb word to use. He was very vibrant, and his voice is still really good. And he really performed. He didn't just sit there like I would do if I was him. If I was him, I would just literally just sit there and be like, yeah, man, so I was in the Beatles. Like, I wouldn't even perform. I would just do a talk show where I would be like, okay, so are you as cool as me? No? Okay, well, you're with me. I mean, I'll plug what... I guess there wouldn't be much to talk about, but he is cool. Anyway, so the point of this topic is that coolness is overrated, but also everyone is cool if they believe... Like, coolness to me is self-expression. You're cool if you don't care what other people think of you. If you don't care what other people think of you, and also you're proud of your own flaws, and you don't care about shallow things like how you dress. Oh, I have to have all the cool status things. I have to drink White Claw, or else people think I'm a loser. Yeah, we all have those urges to chase status. That's why we want someone who's cool. When we date people, we don't want someone who is into stuff that we think is uncool. But what if they're still cool? Like, what if they're into something uncool, like, I don't know, taxidermy? Or what's a really uncool thing? We'll just go with taxidermy. It's cool, though, so that's not the best. To me, it's cool. So if you're into something like bird watching or something, like, what if you're into bird watching and you say that proudly on your, what happened to my audio? Okay, I don't know what happened. Okay. Anyway, one sec. I'm thinking. Oh, I know why. It's because of automation. One sec. Technical difficulties. This is a live show, so it happens. Also, I don't know what the fuck this is the second episode, so that's why things happen sometimes that you can't really... Anyway, and also now I'm louder. Sorry. Let me turn down my mic a little bit. And this mic picks up everything. Picks up all the clicks and clacks. It's not the best mic for a podcast, but also... Anyway, let's get back to the topic at hand. So if you want to call in, the number's right there. It's right there. And now it's gone. I just removed the number. So good luck calling in. So anyway, Vokes. This place is usually left-wing propaganda. Like this. This is about white supremacist content on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Okay, like they're going about... It's a reaction to the shootings, about violence and hateful ideologies. And it's interesting. Like, I should read it before reacting to it. Because, you know, when you, like, let's just go by what they're saying. They're saying that... Actually, I don't know what they're saying. What are they saying? I'm assuming what they mean is that that hateful stuff on these platforms leads to violence. That's what I'm assuming they're saying. That if you post a bunch of right-wing or whatever, even white supremacist content, that could lead to violence. And hey, maybe there's some truth to that, definitely for some people. And like, if you're a crazy person, and you see something that triggers you into committing violence, and it's happens to be, I don't know. Does that mean that everyone is like that? No. Extremist content. Okay. YouTube finally banned content from neo-Nazis, Holocaust deniers, and Sandy Hook trolls in June. It updated its hate speech policy to prohibit videos alleging that a group is superior in order to justify discrimination, segregation, or exclusion based on qualities like age, race, gender, caste, religion, sexual orientation, or veteran status. It claims to have reduced views of supremacy. So let's just go with that. So what's so bad about... This is a scary idea. What's so bad about those types of videos being online? Like, even if they are legitimately hateful, like, is hate speech really a thing? Like, how do you define it? Like, what if you're just hateful in a way that's not the mainstream? Like, what if you're not a neo-Nazi or a Holocaust denier or Sandy Hook troll, but you just happen to hate, I don't know, white people? Like, is that hate speech? I don't know. That's where the argument kind of breaks down, because there are very hateful people who are not neo-Nazis, but they still post hate speech all the time. So why remove that, though? Like, why not see what people think, even if it's hateful? Because then you could know if there's... Because hatefulness, we all agree, it's toxic. But how did you end up there? What made you toxic to begin with? Can't we analyze that instead of just censoring the hate? You know? Can't we break down the reasons they are hateful, and maybe just, instead of deleting it, kind of, I don't know. I don't think you should be exposed to something hateful just by going on Twitter. But I would just consider that one of the risks of going into a public forum. You're going to see ideas you don't agree with, just like on this podcast. I highly doubt there's anything I said that people agree with on this thing. That's kind of... But so what? Like, I disagree with most people on a lot on everything, pretty much. Like, I disagree with people on mundane stuff. Like if, let's say, what's a mundane... All right, who cares? I'm going to go back to a topic that's planned. Power. It's everywhere. But no one wants to address it. Like, most relationships, I think, are based on power. But who would want to admit that? That your relationship was based on you being used or something. Hanging out with someone you want to be with because there's someone who looks up to you can very quickly become toxic. Here's what I mean. Like, let's say you are an actor, a successful actor, and you hang out with a young person who's also an aspiring actor. And you want to be around them because they're doing the thing you want to do. You look up to them. Of course you want to be around them. That's the power part. They have power over you in that sense. And also, what if you're hot? What if the aspiring actor is hot? And the professional, the established actor is horny. Oh, now we got a power dynamic that could lead to an exploitation. We got the established person up here. We got the sexy unestablished person down here. But the sexiness brings them up to there. So now there's an equalness to some extent that could lead to something bad, because even if you don't realize that it's there, it's there. So you'll be at the actor's house talking about acting and shit. And then that horny established actor will be like, hey, so all this talking we're doing, all this mentoring I'm doing, it's making me, like, what am I getting out of it other than you teasing me? So then eventually you might ask for something, you might try to pursue something, and you'll find out that it was a bad idea, and, like, you know, however long it takes for them to call you on it, and then you'll be like, oh shit, that's right, I had power. And I think it's everywhere. Like, that's why it's not good to have, when a teacher does something with a student, obviously it's not just the age difference, because you could be this literally like the same age or older than your teacher. If you're in college or something, you could literally be older than the teacher, but she's the one or he's the one in the power position. You're just the student. That's a bad example. Anyway, corrections from the last show. We're going to talk about the last show and all the mistakes I made. I can't think of any mistakes I made. If you thought I said something incorrect, please just either call in now or just send me a message on Facebook. I don't have an email for the show yet, but I'm very receptive to criticism because this is the first episode. This is the second episode, and also it's going to suck for a long time before it gets good. So I'm open to criticism to learn how to make it not suck. Check out this pin I got. I got this pin a long time, like a couple months ago, from these protesters. And it says refusefascism.org. So it's basically like an anti-fascist movement. And I never went to the website. Let's go to the website. Refusefascism.org. And I'm assuming by fascism they just mean the Trump campaign. I don't know. Pretty sure that's what they mean by that, because I don't know. Where's the fascism? Oh, I was right. So they're asking for donations. So basically by anti-fascist, they just mean Trump is a bad person, basically. The Trump-Pence regime. What's the definition of regime? That sounds like a loaded term, dude. A government, especially an authoritarian one. Ooh. Ooh. Alright, sorry, I'm not on the right screen. Now you can see what I'm looking at. Regime. Ooh, authoritarian. Ooh. I don't really know. Is the Trump campaign that authoritarian? I mean, he tweets a lot. He makes an idiot out. Like, he makes himself look really dumb and gets criticized by everyone. Where's the part where he's authoritarian? It seems like other people are trying to authoritate his campaign, but I don't. So where's the evidence? Okay, let's see. Stop the raid, stop the torture, close the all right, so now we're getting into real propaganda. And this website it has a rank of 1 million, so it's not a very popular website, but that is not the point of this. Who cares how popular the website is? It's about what they're propagating. So, concentration camps. Let's see the evidence that they're talking about. Or just what they're talking about. I mean, let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. So yes, close the cons. Organize now for mass, non-violent, sustained protest to demand. What are we demanding? This nightmare must end. The Trump-Pence regime must go. Everything must go. As in, okay, so let's learn why. Okay, why? Call to action, protest. Got it. Again, so they're protesting against the cruel attacks on immigrants and migrants happening across the country. Wait, how are they attacking migrants if they're okay? Aren't they kind of attacking the border by coming here illegally? I mean, it seems like we're just defending the border, but that's just my opinion. Let's see. I'm trying to learn about them. Okay, to drive out. Wait, so you want to drive out the current president's campaign so migrants can attack our... I'm trying not to be biased here, because clearly I don't agree with these people on pretty much on anything, so I'm still trying to find the evidence. Okay, where's the fascism? Okay, here we go. When the Trump-Pence regime's policy of family separation was first revealed last year. Coco Das and Sarah Rourke wrote on this website. When held up against the United Nations definition of genocide, the actions of this regime are laying the groundwork for further crimes against humanity. 1 year later, the regime is still in power and its cruelty has metastasized. That's a scary word. The Trump-Pence regime is essentially torturing immigrants in concentration camps. Wow, that is an extremely inflammatory thing to say. Children are taking care of younger children kept in icebox conditions and denied basic hygiene and health care. People told to drink out of toilets. There isn't enough air to breathe inside overcrowded facilities. 7 children have died. Okay. The xenophobic attack on immigrants is the linchpin and battering ram of a larger fascist program. Ooh, scary. Torturing children and babies is not only an atrocity in its own right, it's the spearhead and battering ram of a whole fascist program being imposed on America by the Trump-Pence regime with dire consequences for the people of the world. This is how fascism advances, dehumanizing whole section of people and normalizing cruelty, preparing hearts and minds to look away as atrocities worsen. Trump's Make America Great Again is a 21st century fascism program of manifest destiny. America First, wrapped in the flag and Pence's Bible taken literally with a program of white supremacy, misogyny. Okay, so I'm still waiting for the evidence for fascism, and now they introduced 3 more things that I guess they're fighting, which is white supremacy, misogyny, and xenophobia. So I guess we'd have to wait for... Now we have to find evidence for 3 more things. Still haven't found the evidence. So the evidence for fascism, I think that they're saying, is that it seems like it could turn into it because they're normalizing cruelty and dehumanizing people. But they're not Americans. They're people coming here illegally. I mean, that's just a fact. So is that fascism to just protect the border? I don't know. Seems like that's a very reasonable question to ask. So the fascism cannot be stopped by relying on Democrats' elections or routine protests. Okay, now we're getting even scarier. All too many people think and act as if we could face as if what we face is just the worst of pendulum swings between Republicans and Democrats. No. This regime, if left in power, will use the wrong version of effect, a thoroughly reactionary restructuring of society. And call to action goes to say, the Democratic Party leadership will not lead us out of this. They are about maintaining order for their whole setup. For them, order is more important than justice, even if that means the order of fascism. Wait, what? Now they're saying the Democrats are responsible for fascism? Was this not driven home yet again when, despite their majority in the House, the Democratic Party just handed Trump $4.6 billion in funding for his concentration camps and more? Okay, for his concentration camp. Is that what it was for? I thought it was for the wall or something. It seems very different from concentration camps. Seems like the wall would actually reduce the number of detention centers needed if there's a wall. Then they would just bounce off it and go home or something. That's just my opinion. So but if it's for concentration camps, then yeah, that is pretty messed up if you believe that sentence. But this is a very, very hard thing to just go with. Oh, it's a concentration camp? I don't know. I have to look up the definition of concentration camp. Let's go there. Let's go there. It's a place where large numbers of people, especially political prisoners or members of persecuted minorities, are deliberately imprisoned in a relatively small area with inadequate facilities, sometimes to provide forced labor or to await mass execution. The term is strongly associated with the several hundred camps established by the Nazis in Germany. Blah, blah, blah. We know, yeah, Auschwitz, Dachau, Belsen. Those are the OG concentration camps that everyone agrees are concentration camps, unless you're a Holocaust denier. So that's the definition. So the place that there's the way that I see what they're saying. They're saying, well, it's for prisoners of a political prisoners who are minorities. So like those words line up kind of with the detention centers. Definitely, they're not awaiting mass execution, I don't think, but enforced labor, I don't know. I guess there might be some forced labor there. I don't know. I'd have to look that up. But they're small. They got that part right. They're probably small and inadequate facilities. I don't know if that makes it a concentration camp, though, just because they're not as good as like a Holiday Inn. I don't know if that makes them detention centers. It's just that where else, like, should we detain them is the question. I think that's important. Like, that's the question. Like, why are we detaining them? If they're just here to get a better life, and a lot of them are refugees, why are we detaining them? Can't we just say no, that you can't come? So that's where I could use some more education on this subject. And also, but even then, I kind of get why they have to detain them. It's because they're not leaving, so they're breaking a law. Well, I mean, that's kind of what happens when you break a law. You get detained. Isn't that what detention means? Detention is just another way of saying detained. So that's why it's propaganda, because they're saying that the detention centers are concentration camps. No, I'm not convinced of that. I think they're just detention centers, because we have to protect the border. Like, it's a very moderate opinion to say that we should protect the borders. Like, what other countries just let anyone in, you know? So anyway, that's just what I think. And then I think we can move on this, because I just smashed it out of the park. Like, and then this website, I think they're going to go on to say even scarier stuff. Like, this podcast is not just me being scary. It's about anyone who's saying something that might be considered kind of sketchy or scary. Even if it's true, like, I don't care. Like, I'll talk about anything. Like, I'm willing to be convinced that Trump and Pence is a fascist regime. I'm just trying to find the actual evidence. It seems like these people are just pissed off about something. History has shown that appeasing and collaborating with fascism leads to an ever greater horrors. Yeah, I agree. If you pour your hopes into leaders like this who aid in the running of concentration camps, you become... Yeah, but you got to prove that they're concentration camps before you just boiler, you know... I still don't see the premise. Like, I get that. Of course, if you agree that they're concentration camps, of course, that's bad, but come on. The crisis they have not faced. Okay. So now they're talking about a different type of protest, which is where we're talking about. This is where it gets scary. So I'm just going to try to find where they actually... So yeah, we're talking about a different kind of protest than we have yet seen in this country, where people go out on the streets for a day and then back to their regular lives as soon as the horrors, you know. Instead, what we need is protests that continue day after day and don't stop, creating the kind of political situation in which the demand that the regime be removed from power. Okay, that's a long sentence. Anyway, this is what we must be organizing and preparing for now. Join, refuse, fascism. So they're just saying just to do it more. I mean, it just sounds like a call, not for violence, but it's just they're saying without saying it. They're saying, like, you know, they're not saying to riot. They're just saying to protest 24/7. Like, who's going to do that? Who's going to just quit their jobs to protest something that's based on propaganda? Like, you didn't prove the fascism premise. All you said was that there's limited resources in the detention centers. You didn't use the word detention centers. You just straight up called them concentration camps. That's a very inflammatory thing. What does inflammatory mean? I need to look that up. It means causing inflammation in part of the body or arousing, to arouse anger. That's why I said inflammatory. I used it correctly. It's incendiary. So anyway, and then they have a call to action page. Let's just spend a little more time on this before moving on. If someone actually listens to this podcast, I'm gonna get so much people who would want to call me a bunch of bad names. But hey, I'm drinking White Claw, dude. I can handle it, dude. I already get called names just for drinking White Claw, dude. I get called. We're horrified in anger at the shocking damage already done to lives here and around the world by the regime. We recognize that they're posed to do far worse, including threatening war, even nuclear war. Through an unrelenting barrage of daily outrages and Twitter outbursts. That's it? You're just afraid of that's what you're referring to, the Twitter outbursts? I mean, yeah, that's okay. It's just text. The Trump-Pence regime is radically remaking society, step by step hammering into place of vicious American fascism. This is not insult or exaggeration. It's what they're doing, okay? So they're just insisting, they're just asserting themselves and doubling down and be like, no, we're not exaggerating. No, this is what we're doing. Never mind actually giving bullet points to prove it. I don't see a single, maybe if I keep reading. Okay, therefore. They're already at the therefore? You didn't even, it just said Twitter outburst. All right. Therefore, we resolve that nothing short of removing this whole illegitimate regime from power will stop with this. What's illegitimate about it? That they got elected? I don't really get what's illegitimate about it. They got elected by the democratic process, I'm pretty sure. I was there. It was 2016. I was there. There was a way to do it. I didn't like it. I was not a Trump supporter back then. I thought I wanted Hillary to win. It still happened though. I accepted it. There's a way to do this. To do so, we must cast aside illusions and self-delusions. All too many people think and act as if what we face is just the worst of I already read that, dude. Get to the actual. Like, if they just keep using buzzwords like regime, fascism, concentration camp, that is propaganda. You know that, right? Like, you need to actually demonstrate it. That's why that's why people on 4chan are so pissed off. That's why the alt-right is the alt-right. That's why you've heard of them, because they're getting noisier. Because, not that the alt-right is legitimate. Like, I don't agree with any of alt-right opinions. We went over that on the last show. But even if you're not alt-right, which I'm not, if you're in the center, if you're just in the center politically, you think this is nuts. So it's not just people on the far right. That's another way of turning off, That's another way of not having to listen to other opinions. If you just call everyone you disagree with alt-right or white supremacist. Someone actually called me a white supremacist for, I don't know why. I guess they just thought I was a white supremacist because I have different opinions of that. I don't really know. Like, I never did anything to confirm that. Really weird. But also I couldn't get too offended by it because everyone's kind of nuts like that. And calling him nuts, I guess that's an attack a little bit. But whatever, I'll have him, if someone thinks I'm a white supremacist and you want to have a respectful conversation, the number's right there, dude. It's right there. I never pointed the right place. Anyway, and now the number's gone. You missed it, dude. That was your only chance. I like to remove, I don't like it to be up the whole show. Because I get enough callers. Alright, let's talk about something less scary. Open mic etiquette. I've been an open micer for 7 years. I just hit the 7-month mark in open mic, in my open mic career. Which means that it doesn't mean anything, to be honest. Being 7 years in does not mean anything. You could be really bad and be 7 years. Like, a lot of people don't get any better. Like, some people are just never gonna figure it out. But you do figure out what to do. Dude, am I sweating, dude? Oh, fucking gross, dude. Fucking, this studio is hot. Also, all that fascism stuff really spooked me out. Anyway, sorry. You won't hear it you won't see the sweat in the audio version, so I don't really have to address it, I guess. But, so anyway, open mic etiquette. Like, I think the little things add up. Like, if you run a mic and you're wondering why people don't come, it's either because people don't talk about it. It's the same thing with the Beatles, the hypness factor. There's a hypness factor to mics, and it's the little things. Like, you could be a really popular person and run a mic, but no one's going to show up if you don't put effort in. You got to be positive. Like, don't just be like, oh, okay. Like, say hi to the comics that come. Make them feel welcome. Like, grow a relationship with your regulars, dude. Don't just be like, oh, he's here again. Like, he can't. They went to your thing. You could be nice to them. They're not gonna be mean to you if you're nice to them by saying, oh, thanks for coming, and say goodbye. Actually, that's the thing I was gonna question is if it's okay to say goodbye to the host. I've never said goodbye to a host at an open mic. But when I host an open mic, people say goodbye to me all the time. So that means I'm just not very friendly, probably. So I think it's fine to say goodbye to the host. And also, staying after your set. Wow, is that a revealing thing about how big of a douchebag you are? Like I'm a douchebag, so I'm more than happy to talk about this. Leave, like you could tell when people leave after they have a bad set because they're ashamed of it. But even if you're ashamed of your set, dude, doesn't it look better to just stay, because then you show that you're at least kind of a little humble about it? Like, I know it feels shitty, but eventually someone else is going to bomb, and then you're going to totally forget about it. So, come on, dude. Like, if you do well, you tend to stick around longer, because it's like, hey, dude, I did well. Dude, I'm going to stick around. And then someone might do better than you, and they'll be, oh, fuck, he did oh, well, then I'm going to leave then. Like, everything you do in public reveals a lot about your ego. And I think it's the little things that add up for everything you do. The bells and whistles, it's the little things in life that really matter. Like, in the end, we're all just going to die and be miserable. And like, so it's the little things that count. Because the whole point of life is just to mate and die. Mate, die. So those are the big things. The little things are what we actually remember. That's what makes it go by a lot more fun, dude. Political movements have replaced actual politics, and by that I mean shitty political movements. And it's a shitty. I meant religion. That's what I meant. Political movements have replaced religiosity. And by that I mean shitty political movements. Like, it's a shitty replacement to religion. Like, not that I'm religious or even pro-religion, but I'm pro-self-betterment. I'm pro, journeying through life and, like, actually not staying the same the whole time. Like, not being dogmatic. That's what a lot of people are in this community, like in the city of Chicago. A lot of people are just not willing to listen to anyone who disagrees with them on anything. Like, homophobia is real for sure, but should your entire business be destroyed just because someone who works there, who's not even necessarily the owner of the business, says something homophobic? Does that mean they deserve to be, viciously harassed for the rest of their lives? Like there's this, hey, people just join the bandwagon. It's like, oh, everyone is leaving bad Yelp reviews because I heard they did something homophobic, so let's just ruin this guy's life. It's like, isn't that kind of toxic? Like, can't you just kind of let it roll off your back? Like, isn't that kind of the whole point of pride, to just be prideful and not vicious. I don't know, because people are going to be mean to you no matter what your background. Like, people hate me probably just for drinking White Claw, dude. Like, and for being how I am. Like, I don't need to be anything for people to hate me. I'm naturally hateable, and I like that about myself because I have self-respect. That's what I was saying earlier about the whole being cool versus trying to be cool. Or actually, I'll phrase it as saying knowing you're cool versus trying to get people to think you're cool. I already know I'm cool. Like, I've been cool since freaking preschool, dude. Like, I know this for sure, dude. I was cool in preschool, so why do I care if someone doesn't think I'm cool now? Like, being cool is internal. Like, you could be cool without other people knowing it, but they will know it because it's called self-confidence, self-respect. That's cool. Following other people, that's not cool, dude. Following a band, fine, as long as you're like, I don't shit on people who are Fish fans all the time. I do, just not all the time. Like, maybe like 70% of the time I come across a Fish fan while I make fun of them. That's not all the time, dude. So the point is like all these people that I meet in the comedy, they have huge egos, and they just want to be accepted, and they want to be one of the guys, and then they become one of the guys, and they're still unhappy. They're still unhappy because they think that once they reach a certain threshold, that everything else will just fall in place. It doesn't work that way, dude. You gotta keep going, dude. You just gotta not give a shit, dude. Just be. Don't chase things. Just be. Just know that coolness, beauty is everywhere. Like, you don't need to look at something beautiful to find beauty. You don't need to go to an art studio, an art museum to find beauty. There's beauty on sidewalks, dude. Every sidewalk crack, there's beauty there somewhere. You know? People are just blind to see it. Anyway, this is a very serious podcast. Let's talk about comedy, which, like, we covered a lot already. How long are we into this? We're like an hour in. Cool. We're an hour deep. I'm going to play a set for you from, I don't know, what's a good set that I did? Here's a set I did.
I became a fan of Louis C.K. They're trying to get some boots.
Such no wisdom or love.
I'm actually seeing Ringo Starr later tonight. Ravinia. A lot of baby boomers are gonna be there trying to get some boomer pussy. I'll keep going. I will stand for boomer pussy. If it means the Lord loves me. Oh, that's right. So Catholic.
I just want to play that part. That was cool. It was from a show called Late Breakfast. I was there. Yes, it was just yesterday. I was very tired when I did it, so I didn't really care how it went. But it was fun though. Anyway, so let's go back to controversial. Let's go back to the meat of the show. We already destroyed this anti-fascism group. We didn't really destroy it. Let's go to their events. I mean, let's see what they got. I'll show up. I'll get some interview. I'll get some field interviews, dude. I'll bring my recorder. Wow, they look really pissed off about something. It's crazy that none of them are actually... none of them probably could demonstrate any evidence towards what they're marching for. That's why it's so ridiculous. They just look all like they're just guilty of something. Like, no, we're not bad. We're not bad. We're not the bad ones. Look at us. We're actually doing something. We're taking time off from work. Then we're not the bad ones. Meanwhile, what are they even what are they defending themselves against? Refuse fascism. What's the definition of? I know that it involves like totalitarianism and censorship. Like it involves power. It's a form of radical right-wing authoritarian ultranationalism characterized by dictatorial power, forcible suppression of opposition, and strong regimentation of society and of the economy, which came to prominence in early blah blah. That's when it came to prominence. So the very first couple words is that it's a radical right wing, as if that's like seems kind of biased to just say that it's radical and right wing. I mean, isn't there a lot of things on the left that are radical? Why is there no definitions like that? It's a radical left wing group. I haven't seen. I'm sure there are some, but definitely fascism is radical. And so the authoritarian ultranationalistic part, that's the part I don't really get how the Trump regime is doing that. What is he authoritating besides protecting the border? Like, I'm sure there's tons more examples of what they're saying authoritarian. And the ultranationalism, where's the ultra part? Like, I get the national part, the nationalism part, because we want Americans to be the ones that get the most benefits, because they're, that's kind of the whole point of being American. That's kind of why it's called America, because we're pro-American. That's kind of why we're here. It's kind of why everyone lives here. Like, America started as an idea. It wasn't just a place. It's like, yeah, let's start a new country. And then we did, and we went there because it's a cool idea. Anyone could come here. So what's the problem with being nationalistic to that idea? Where's the ultra part? Like, that's all they're doing is so anyway, I don't agree with either of those. And then it's dictatorial power. Obviously, we already covered. I don't really see how he's a dictator. Maybe Pence is, I don't know. And then suppression of opposition, that part I'm really confused about, because it seems like he's doing pretty poorly of suppressing opposition. Seems like the opposition is really vocal and killing it. The opposition is very, very unsuppressed. So anyway, I think we covered it. I think I destroyed the shit out of it. I'm sure eventually the more I do this podcast, the more I'll get actual callers. Because this is not just a podcast where I just get people that like me on. I want someone who viciously disagrees with me. I don't care. So anyway, we covered that topic. We covered how I'm right and everyone else is dumb. Drink shaming. Making fun of someone for the drink they order. That's kind of what we've been talking about with the claw. The claw. Or as I call it, la crack. People make fun of people who drink drinks of certain kind. Like whenever someone gets like cranberry or like something like that, people make fun of them. I do. I drink shame people all the time. Not for drinking, just for what they're drinking. Like if they get like Miller Lite or Corona Extra, I go, why? Why do you need the light part, dude? I mean, you just want to piss more? You enjoy going to the bathroom every 20 minutes? And then what's another one? Red Bull or Monster. People who drink Monster energy drink get a lot of flack. Like it's associated with like, rural, working class, low in like people who are just working, like driving forklifts and shit. What's wrong with it? Drinking some Monster, dude? Like, people just don't respect the working class. I'm not working class, so I don't really know why I'm defending them. I feel like most people just only defend the things that they are. Like, obviously not all of them. Like, there's a lot of white people who hate white people, but that's mostly just because they're told to be guilty by propaganda to hate white people. So it's not that so it is selfish as fuck. It's selfish to be that type of person because it is about you. You're trying to lift your own shame. You don't actually care about other people. And then what's another one? Like feminism. It's mostly women who care about that. Seems kind of selfish. Like, I don't care. I would be a feminist if it made sense to be one. It has nothing to do with my gender. What about masculinity? What about masculism as in the male right? We already talked about that last time. Like, in some way, it's a reaction to feminism. In other ways, it's just the same thing as feminism for men. I don't like that. I don't like being divisive. I don't like that there's movements just for one gender. But hey, that's what I'm supposed to be. I mean, I'm supposed to be against affirmative action because I'm an angry white male. We already covered that in the last episode about how angry white men hate affirmative action and minorities. But I don't. So it just seems like it's very easy to get lumped into hating people if you are vocally against something that could be considered a good thing. Like, affirmative action is considered a good thing by a lot of people in Chicago. That's where I live. And it's kind of weird because, like, isn't that kind of condescending to be like, oh, you were born this way, so therefore we must give you an easier time. We must lower our expectations for you because God, the hell no, are you going to make it on your own? We just got to give you a nice chunk of, give you a chance, but based on your identity alone. Man, would that insult me if I was one of those people. I'm glad I don't get affirmative action. I'm glad that I'm not treated that way because it's insulting, kind of. Same like, and if you're just a woman who gets, let's talk, like, definitely there's women who get booked for comedy shows just because they're women. I mean, that's a fact. But isn't that kind of insulting? It's like, oh, it's not because I'm funny, it's just because I have this certain type of genitalia. Isn't that really, really barbaric? It's kind of anti. It doesn't help the art, and it doesn't help them. It doesn't help anything. It's just, oh, let's go to this show that has a woman on it because she's a woman. But is she funny, though? No? Oh, then why the fuck was she booked on it? Because she's a woman? Oh, that's really dumb. I thought comedy was supposed to be, like, the place where it's just, like, funny. Like, I thought comedy was supposed to be, like, where you go to get people who aren't accepted just for shallow reasons. Like, comedy, for me, I'm not doing it because I am a dude. I'm doing it because I'm funny. And it feels really good to do that. It feels really good to be funny. So I'm really confused as to why people think there's value in doing comedy because you're a certain identity. Like, I identify as a douche, and I love it. It works. People like laughing at douchebags for some reason. I don't know why. I'm not an expert on psychology. I just know it works. Like, it even works on dating apps to look douchey. It doesn't work well, but it works better than just saying, oh, I'm a what do men say on their dating I don't know, because I don't date men. I just know that a lot of people think I'm a douche. That's all I'm saying, dude. Anyway, we're killing it. Safe spaces are bad for the same reason. I've just been like back to women and like that. Back to this topic about identity politics and comedy. Like, if you do a show or a mic that only lets women go up and you do well there, that's great. You're getting validation, you're getting support, you're having fun, you're doing art. But it's an echo chamber. What if you go to a real room, like a room that has like a mixed audience of not just women who are also agreeing with you on everything? Is that kind of a deflating feeling to realize that you're actually not, you don't have the appeal you thought you did? Because that's how I felt when I would kill in certain venues and then realize that I couldn't do it everywhere. It's like, oh, I'm not as good as I thought I was. So safe spaces are great for your ego temporarily and for your emotional, I don't know, protection. If you just want to feel coddled. But this is not a new topic. Everyone agrees with me on this. Who doesn't agree with me that safe spaces are not a good thing generally? I mean, this is a Jordan Peterson topic, and he nailed it. So I don't have to nail it deeper into the coffin. And speaking of Jordan Peterson, the intellectual dark web. It's unfairly criticized. I mean, what's wrong with that? Just because it's... I don't know. It's kind of cool to call it that. The intellectual dark web. That sounds appealing to me. Like, it's intellectual, it's dark, and it's on the web. Sounds like everything that a 90s kid would be about. So, they're unfairly criticized because what's... And then we were talking last time I did this, about biased Google definitions. Like, just the word reactionary just means conservative. Isn't that weird? The word reactionary, all these synonyms are right-wing, conservative. Hold on, let me show you what I'm looking at here. Sorry, this is a one-man show. Like, everything that's happening is me. So anyway, the person... See how it says synonyms for reactionary is right-wing, conservative, rightist, ultra-conservative. As if there's no reactionary people on the left, like we just covered. So Google is becoming very politically biased, and that's scary. That's a scary reality, not just a scary idea. What's another one that I actually was reading on Reddit or something? What the word I was patriot. That's the definition of patriot. Look at this. I think they've removed it. A true patriot. The synonyms. Oh, here we go. Okay, this is crazy. All I did was go to Google and type I typed patriot, and this is the official definition. A person who vigorously supports their country and is prepared to defend it against enemies or detractors. Okay. I suppose that's what it is. And then look at synonyms, though. Nationalist, loyalist, chauvinist, jingoist, jingo, flag waver, isolationist, xenophobe. Okay, like that's a synonym for patriot? Xenophobe? So are we living, is this real? Like, xenophobe is the same thing as patriot. That's how mixed up everything is now. What if you're just a patriot to a country that's not America? Like, xenophobe is only used for Americans, it seems like. I've never heard xenophobe being used for like a Japanese person, even though of course there's xenophobia. If you believe in xenophobia, of course there's xenophobia in every country, you know. But this is easy. Like, this is an easy thing to make fun of because it's nuts. Like, I'm looking to be challenged on this podcast. It seems like it's hard to get people to actually engage in a real conversation. Like, I go to places in Chicago that are extremely left-wing, as in most of the people who go there are extremely far-left people. I'm just saying that by their haircuts. I could tell by their haircuts. Like, it's visible. Like, I don't have to talk to them to know this. But then if you do actually kind of get into the territory of talking about politics, they usually get very, very heated and defensive, and they go on attack. And they aren't really actually willing to be proven wrong or right. They are not willing to engage for long enough to actually convince me or be convinced. They just kind of check out at a certain point because they're brainwashed. They're dogmatic. They're religious. Kind of like on the Flat Earth group. Like, I go to this Flat Earth group sometimes just to hang out. It's a fun play. I'm I'm not even talking smack. It's just that I think a lot of people on there are pretty dogmatic. Like, once they become flat earthers, it's really hard to deconvert them from being a flat earther. There's my pending post. I was hoping they would approve it so I'd actually get a flat earther on. Because, hey, I would love to talk to a flat earther just about how they became one, if they're willing to not be one, because I'm not trying to deconvert them. I don't care. It just seems like a lot of them, once they become flat earthers, they feel like, oh yes, I'm in this special, I'm now smarter than everybody, so I don't care. So I'm just gonna act like I'm superior to people who believe in the globe Earth, and that's fine. But I would just like to discuss it in a way that's not attacking them. Like this person right here. Truth globies believe everything they see in TV and movies. Like, they act like they're enlightened. And maybe they are. I don't know. Maybe it is flat. And that's why people get converted to being a flat earther, because they see this propaganda right here. They see this meme of like, oh, look at these dumb globe people just sitting in class, just drinking and watching TV, just consuming, not actually thinking. Meanwhile, these flat earthers are actually doing the work. They got telescopes, they got cameras, they go on the beach and write things in the sand. They have lasers, they have airplanes with pictures. This is convincing propaganda to some people because it's a good comparison, even though it's just stock photos. Like, it's not convincing to me, but I get where they're coming from. Like, they're showing that, hey, we're the ones actually not being dogmatic. We're the ones actually doing the research. So that's what they're saying. That's why this thing got 200 likes, because it's a good meme for them. It has a bunch of comments too. Let's see. Who cares? That's what's like a laser test. Someone said, is that the laser test from Beyond the Curve that proved curvature and not flat Earth? Yeah, I don't know. Like, everyone is arguing. Like, most people in this group are probably not flat earthers. They're just people just joining along, just eating popcorn, like in the picture right there, just eating popcorn. So that's what I kind of do. But also, I'm interested in the way they think and stuff. Okay, this guy asked a question. Like, I don't care about the Coriolis effect. Dude, I don't know, dude. Yeah, airplanes. Yeah, dude. Great, dude. Like, anyway, dude, let's talk about. Okay, we covered Google. We covered leftists being more dogmatic. Conservatives are also probably dogmatic, just depends on who you ask. Conservative is a very loaded term that's usually used as an attack word to be like, oh, you're from a conservative news outlet? Oh, then go away from me. Get away from me. Yeah, that's dogmatic. Homophobia in ethnic minority communities. What's with that? Why are minority groups homophobic? Why is there like a... I don't get that, because it's true. Just a question, because I thought if you're a minority, you're a victim of a lot of hate crimes. So why are you also committing hate speech? Because homophobia would be considered a hateful thing. So it's just a question. I'm sure I could look into it and get research. It's just a question to show that there's hate in places besides majority groups, you know? Incels. They're not so bad. Is that a scary idea to some people? Probably. But to me, being an incel on its own, not that scary. It just means you don't get laid. So I don't really know. It's a fun way to... It's a really easy thing to make fun of, being an incel. So that's why they get a lot of shit. Also, a lot of them are really misogynistic. So anyway, we're on the this group right here on Reddit called Men Going Their Own Way. Has 122,000 members. All of them are, I don't know. Why is there a picture of a glacier of a park? Okay, so where's the incel stuff? A wise man knows how to keep it. And it's just a dude pushing a woman off a boat and then slamming beer. I gotta watch that again. That's hilarious. So he just slams this woman off the boat and just consumes. Not really consumes, just throws 2 beers at his face. I would be worried about her not getting hit. That's why he threw her to the side. You don't want to get hit by the propellers. That's a very violent. And is this really what this subreddit's about? Just men just pushing women away? Because if so, that's hilarious. If feminism was a car. Yeah, people love using this meme to be hateful. It's not necessarily hateful to make fun of feminism, to be honest. But like, it's pretty funny. It's just funny. All right, where's the real meat? This is just memes. More than 100 women now on Rich List, but just 2 have made their own fortunes, as most have inherited or won millions from divorce. Oh man, that's fucked. When I'm up first and she's asleep. When she's up first and I'm... Oh, dude, that's so hateful to women. Holy shit. Not really. Ugh, I don't want to see that. It's triggering and gross. No wonder it was not safe for work. Okay, someone was white knighting someone on a train.
What do you mean? Like, fuck is you talking about? Stay over there. She's not speaking for you. You got a bum-ass A-boy jacket that came out in 1990. Bro,
Okay, I don't want to see someone get hit. I don't want to see someone get hit. Like even though I'm on this subreddit, doesn't mean I agree with it, you know? Like, I don't think it's cool to hit a woman, even though, I mean, I guess there's some cases where self-defense against a woman, of course, is legitimate. If they are actually being violent, you could push them away or something. It's just really disproportionate, usually, to be a man hitting a woman. To make it self-defense, it's really tough to prove. So that's why I don't want to watch the rest of that video. Even though she was being a dick, like, that's not a reason to hit her, and I did not want to see it go farther. Anyway, White Claw. I'm not drinking it enough. It's really hard to get drunk off this because it's like lemonade or something. It's not very potent. Okay, so this is a post about a dude who just made his own dinner. And I'm pretty sure that's it. It's just him proud of the fact that he made his own food. Okay. I don't really get it. He's just proud that he made his own food. Why are men walking away from relationships? For starters, this is the essence of the dating pool now. The rest of the BTFO mothers of 4 are raging narcissists with the personality of stumps. Wow, that is inflammatory. And then it's just a 19-year-old person on Twitter saying that she broke up with her boyfriend and now I'm blonde. Okay, I mean, that's fine. I don't care. Community college. I mean, it's... okay. Of course, there's truth to the fact that you gotta be quality in some way or to be in a relationship. You can't just be a woman. You can't just be hot. Same with men. If you're just a hot dude and that's why you're with somebody, that gets old. That gets old at some point. Not for me, but for some people. Like, I would date a hot guy forever as long as they stay hot. I've had opportunities to date hot men because there's gay men who think I'm attractive. You know, I could date up if I was gay, or if I just wanted to be in a relationship with a dude. I don't even have to be gay to do that. I could just do it. So that's interesting that that's a feasible thing. But if I want to date a woman, I have to be the one who's impressive, kind of. There's just a dynamic. It's just a true thing. There's an asymmetry there. And this subreddit we could stay on forever probably, but like let's just go to a top post. Top post. We already looked at that one. Go by past month. Don't care. Okay, what is this? Authorities tracked down the last cisgender. I've seen this before. It's pretty funny. It's pretty hilarious. There's just a dude on a boat, and there's someone in a freaking in a wingsuit. He's like, "We gotta get out of here." Oh! I don't get why it's on the subreddit. I don't know. If mom can't afford to raise us without dad's money, why don't they just let us live with dad? That's obviously about it's about the divorce, and that's a topic that I don't feel like talking about because I'd rather have someone else actually who has actually kind of went through it, like Jeff Bezos. I feel bad for him, He's only worth like 70 billion, That's so sad. Let's see, Jeff Bezos. Come on, net worth today. Oh, it's 165 billion. Dude, that sucks. I feel bad for him, don't you? Yeah, no one feels bad for him. Not that I'm saying you should, dude. Anyway, maybe one more topic. Being called a white supremacist for having moderate political views. I already covered that. Like someone thought I was a white supremacist just because why is it? They didn't tell me why. I think it's just because I'm not voting Democrat, I guess. All right, ghosting. Ghosting someone doesn't mean you're not good-hearted. It just means you don't want to hurt. You don't want to spell it out. Like, I guess that is kind of a dick thing to do, to like just stop responding to somebody who might want to hear from you just because you're too afraid to tell them that you're not interested. Yeah, that is a weak move. But what if it's toxic? Like, what if there's a toxic... Like, what if it's too hard to explain? Like, it's okay to ghost people in certain contexts. Like I was saying earlier with the power dynamic thing. Like, if someone's just using you for something... and then sex is involved, and you realize that it's maybe consensual but still involves a give and take power thing, yeah, then it's okay to ghost them, especially if you're the dude, because you don't want to get accused of something. You don't want to just block them. And I'm telling this as someone who is very powerful to other people of power. Not just men, women especially, like, same thing. Don't fuck somebody just because they look up to you for something. Actually, I don't care. I'm not trying to virtue signal up here, dude. You could do whatever you want. Just do whatever you want with your life. It's just that I'm a better person than most people. Don't you ever feel like that though? Like there's some people that are just so annoying and so lacking of self-awareness that you just don't talk to them. But then if they were to talk to you, you would just think like what you would say to them. And that's how I feel about some people, like in the comedy scene. Like there's some people I have zero respect for, but I'm not gonna talk to them. I'm not gonna go up to them just to be mean to them. Like, I ignore them. I just avoid them. If they were to talk to me, I wouldn't necessarily ignore them, but I do think of the things I would say to them. I would say something like, I'm better than you. Like, just something so ridiculous that would probably just piss them off and make them want to keep talking. That's not a good idea to just go like, yeah, I'm better than you, dude. Sorry, dude. I'm a better person than you in pretty much every quantifiable way. Can you just get away from? Can you just please just realize that I don't want to talk to you? I've never done that before, but why not? Why not tell people why you don't like them? Like, I asked this person a week ago why he doesn't like me. Because he stopped, like, all of a sudden, like, he used to be nice to me, and then all of a sudden, he just stopped. He just started, like, being really disrespectful. And so I asked him why. He was like, oh, I just don't like your comedy. I was like, okay, that's fair. Thanks for telling me. Like, I don't care if he doesn't like my comedy. Like, that's not really that insulting. I just don't know why he's so disrespectful to me as a person. Like, not that he is. It's just that I just thought it'd be funny to confront them. Because once you're open to being rejected, it's kind of fun to just engage people, but like not fearing the rejection part. Because then you might actually get somewhere with them. Otherwise, oh, thank God we got someone calling in. I'm so bored of talking. Hey, welcome to the show. What's your name?
Hey, thank you for calling.
Yeah, who is it?
Hey guys, I'm a white guy, 5'10". I would really love to meet up with a big, well-hung black guy. I just have a fantasy about black guys. I want to have one of them up inside me. I want to taste them and touch it, be used, pounded on. Major fantasy. You got for anything, groups even. Share me with your friends, as long as it feels good. I have a nice tight hole. Just have that big old black one slid right up in there. Let me know.
Let me know.
Thanks for calling, whoever the hell that was. Hey, if you're looking to get a date, this is not the worst place to do that. But obviously, that was just a joke recording of someone who wants someone who wants to get fucked by a black dude. And there's a lot of people out there looking for that. Why not? But we would have kept you on the line. I mean, it's not like you did anything that mean or rude. You just played a clip. I don't care. It wasn't relevant. It was relevant. We talked about not really. We didn't really talk about interracial gay sex. But hey, let's go there. Let's talk about interracial gay sex. It's hot. It's hotter than straight sex with two of people of the same race. Ugh, boring. Okay, they're calling back. Here they come. It's all right. It's Bon Traeger. Thanks for calling again, dude. How's it going?
Not too bad. I feel kind of bad because the guy called in. And he doesn't have the balls to say he wants big black cock himself. He has to have Tommy Chong say it for him.
That was Tommy Chong. Yeah.
Whatever soundboard that was.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was actually kind of recognized your voice, but didn't want to. So how are you doing tonight? Did you listen to any of this?
I was listening to the last 20 minutes maybe or so.
Okay. Yeah, it's starting to wind down. I'm starting to get tired of talking about all these controversial topics alone. Like, I need someone else to be on.
I thought for sure the Flat Earthers would be on this by now.
Yeah, they didn't approve the post, I don't think, or there's it's still pending. Otherwise, that'd be great.
You gotta message these people individually or something. I don't know.
Someone just asked if I'm taking calls. Someone I don't know named Steve. Yes, we are taking calls. If the number is right up there. Anyway, yeah, I covered a lot of really, really aggressively political topics, and it was fun. But so, what are you up to tonight?
I was at the show at Berwyn.
Berwyn.
Still feeling raw about that polygamy, but
polygamy. Where? What show in Berwyn? Riddles or something?
It's oh
no, that's
Sunday
not
Funnies
okay.
At the Friendly Tap. It's a school. It's a bar. It's a coffee joint. It does everything.
Okay, how's that? Did you go up?
Yeah, I'm just outside because it's so deathly quiet in there. I'm like, it's freaking me out.
So how was your set? Did you get some big laughs?
No, not really. I went up first, and I don't think the mic was working, so I kind of got shafted. But no one's laughing at anything. So
Damn.
I didn't even give him Jigglypuff pooping. That's how bad I was feeling. I didn't even give him Jigglypuff pooping.
That's your big closer.
Yeah, basically, it's one of my closers that has the biggest energy.
That was my
fucking, like, just...
Yeah, that was my first impression of you, was seeing you do that joke at Shuba's. Probably like a year ago at this point, and man, I was like, is this guy for real?
You can really lean into that pooping. You can really lean into it if you want to.
Turns out you are for real.
Dude, last time I did it, I committed so hard, I felt like I was gonna throw up like midway doing it. I was like, this is gonna be crazy if I fucking pretend to poop so hard that I throw up.
What's the hit rate for that joke? What's the percentage of times it works?
It works most of the time, even if you don't know what a Pokemon is.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's still something taking a shit.
Right. I mean, yeah, if it didn't work, you probably wouldn't be doing it still. I mean, you're not crazy, right?
I'm not absolutely insane.
Right. You have some awareness of when something's not going well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because some people do not have that. Yeah. Some people have absolutely no idea when they should probably change. I won't name names.
Like people have said, like, I don't even know what a Jigglypuff is, but damn if it wasn't taking a poop.
Yeah, I mean, it works in our group, in our area, in our age group, but still, Pokemon, dude. I grew out of it.
You're not getting that new one where they're gonna be walking around in the fields and shit.
There's a new one coming out.
Yeah, the new one come out in November, and then there's also another thing where, like, cause the last couple generations they have to, like, throw a bone, like do some kind of weird new mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
So now there's a new one where, like, they basically turn into, like, Godzilla-sized Pokemon for, like, 3 or 4 moves, and then, yeah.
What's it called? They used up all the minerals already. Like, what is it? Limestone? Like, what's the...
Oh, no. This one's Sword and Shield, baby.
Okay. I feel like, yeah, that's cool.
So it's like a Europe theme.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be it's supposed to be... Because, like, they did one where it was, like, kind of in France.
Mm-hmm.
So this one's supposed to be more like UK.
Oh, nice.
Like castles and shit.
For what game consoles?
The Switch, the first main series to be on the Switch.
Of course, yeah.
And people are freaking out because they're not going to have all the Pokemon in it. They're not going to have the national dex.
Oh, really?
So people are spamming the shit out of the Pokemon people.
Yeah.
Like literally like the Pokemon like Twitter or anything post just like about a Poke fart.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's like, National Dex, bring back the National Dex.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for game developers. They get a lot of flack. Anytime they do anything that's not as good as the previous thing, oh man, do they get flack.
Yeah.
They get harassed.
Well, I mean, I get their point. Like, they're trying to, like, keep it low key and just do, like, the Pokemon of that region and not, like, bog it down.
Okay.
But, like, people are freaking out because they're not going to have their favorite Pokedokies. I'm not sure if my guys are going to make the cut yet.
Who are your guys?
I like Ampharos and Ralts.
Okay.
I'm a Ralts guy. Ralts goes into Gardevoir, but, like, Ralts, he's the cooler guy.
Wait, there's a Pokemon just called Ralph?
Ralts.
Oh,
Ralts.
Oh, okay.
That'd be so great. Ralph Mon. Be the best.
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up for on my stream, but whatever, dude. This is not about Pokemon, dude. This is about scary ideas, dude. So, you have any like scary ideas you want to get through, and then maybe I'll just let you go after that because there's someone else was trying to call.
Oh yeah, Steve's definitely got to get in on this.
Steve who?
Yeah, I thought you were saying Steve was.
Oh no, yeah, I don't know who. I just noticed that someone else tried to call.
Yeah, well, I assume their name is Steve, so Steve should definitely call in.
Cool.
But yeah, have you watched that new Whitney Cummings doc?
No.
Special.
No. Is it good?
She ends on this. Her last whole like maybe 20, maybe 15 minutes is like about like sex robots.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was kind of interesting, like her going into like the whole pros and cons of it, and just like, fine, fuck it, let them get blow up dolls. It's teaching them how to like put on makeup and stuff, because they like she stalked the forums, and there's just guys being like, how do you comb hair, and like where do you get cheap mascara?
No, that looks really interesting actually.
So like, I don't think it wouldn't be that big of a thing.
And I do think she's really funny actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get on and off with her a little bit sometimes, but overall she's pretty cool.
Right. I mean, everyone's kind of going political now, but yeah, she's good. Anyway, thanks for calling in, dude.
Where do you fall on sex dolls?
On sex dolls, dude, I guess it is controversial to be just pro sex dolls, because what about women who are having trouble finding men? Is there male sex dolls too?
Oh yeah, of course there.
Of course. It just seems kind of unfair.
They're not good. But I don't think they're as good. I don't think they have the crazy robo dick technology yet.
Yeah, because like of course there's a market for that, but it's a glorified dildo.
Yeah, yeah.
But meanwhile,
I think girls are covered for the most part on that.
Yeah.
But they would like someone to cuddle with, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, absolutely, dude. Speaking of which, if anyone never mind, I'm not going to do that. Have you been cuddling with, have you been getting that? Are you a sex doll advocate?
I mean, I just think like if it's a thing where like everyone has them, like smartphones, it's just going to be another equalizer. Like it's just going to bring another level to it. Like, you'll just like know more. Like if you're good at maintaining your sex doll, you're going to know how to like put makeup on your girlfriend, so she's not gonna fucking mind. Like there's gonna be, it's not gonna be all bad.
Yeah,
I think we'll still find regular people to make babies with.
I don't care if they have makeup on. Like I don't know. I like they would be like, if it's a sex doll, I'm sure she would look hot just by her face structure alone. I don't need to put makeup.
I don't know. Do you have any have you ever had like younger like girl cousins, and like you see their Barbie dolls after a couple months?
Right.
They just like leave them out in the sun and shit.
Oh yeah.
Horrified.
That's true. Huh. Yeah, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it inside. It'll just be like in my, who knows? Yeah, actually, I don't know if I would get one.
This is my indoor sex robot.
Right. Probably just come with the apartment too. Just like, yeah, this apartment comes with a sex robot.
And if they're really robots, I mean, maybe they could help you. Like, they could be a wingman for you.
Seems like it defeats the purpose. I mean, you could just develop a personality too. Anyway, I think it's a good place to wrap it up. Thanks for calling in. Not that I don't like talking to you, but I've already been on for 2 hours. So
you've been on for so long.
Yeah,
you got to hang it up.
Cool.
You got to crush that last White Claw.
Yeah, definitely. Cool, man.
Well, I'll see you around, y'all.
I will see you around, dude. Thanks again.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that just cleared the phone lines are now open. If one more caller would like to jump on this before I wrap it up. I really enjoyed the last call, though, and the first call with Rory. I wonder how his set went. I like to talk to comics about how their set went because, I don't know, I like to be generous. I like to tell people, I like to encourage people who do stand-up comedy because it's really hard. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up, I guess, in the next few minutes, and I'll end maybe on... let's see. I pretty much covered everything. So I guess I will probably just call it here because this is only the second episode. We don't need that many callers. And I laid down the groundwork for a lot of premises that show my opinions. So if someone listens to this, they could just call in next time. And the next show will be probably... either the same time as this one or maybe on a Saturday again. I don't really know. I haven't nailed down the permanent recording date yet because literally I have a very open schedule, which makes it pretty hard to pick a date if you have literally any date open. But that's not the case because I get tons of road work and roadhead. So anyway, thanks for everyone who listened and called in. This was Scary Ideas with Tim Weixelbach.